Welcome back. This is Sport Zone on Joy Prime. My name is Jota here. I've been joined this evening by Daniel Cranting and Sichofe Flavor Chim. Guys, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
You guys looking sharp.
Thank you very much.
Very, very sharp. Yeah. That's a professor look. Every time I dress up like this, my wife calls me professor. She just said to me, I say, hey, professor. But you guys okay?
Yeah, all good.
Listen, guys, we've got a lot to go through tonight.
Let's do it.
Obviously, Diogo Jota's situation, well, let me just be straightforward. So Diogo Jota's untimely death on Tuesday last week has created quite a storm. Obviously, it was shocking to everyone. How it happened, it was very unfortunate. The world of football is mourning. So are we here on Sports Zone. Obviously, this was a massive, massive shock to the world of sports, and everyone around the globe has been paying tribute to Diogo Jota as well. And it doesn't matter where the people are from. And the funeral, obviously, Liverpool players were there for the funeral. There's a lot of them. The captain, Virgil van Dijk, leading the players there. Some of the players didn't attend. Luis Diaz wasn't there, and he's catching a bit of a flack for that. But it's been one hell of a shocking development. One of the other big news was the absence of Cristiano Ronaldo, and it created some sort of storm on the internet. I just want to ask the guys very quickly, this whole situation, what it teaches us about life, what it teaches us about sport, and all of that. And what's the world of sport really missing with this situation? Does it change anything in your perspective towards life? Does it, Sicho, when you had what's the last week been for you?
No, it's been tough. It has been. And when you also follow the whole background story of how it happened, and when you look at it from the viewpoint of the family, then you look at it from the viewpoints from the parents and the viewpoint from the wife and the kids, makes it even sadder because he died alongside his brother, Andre Silva. That in itself is terribly, terribly bad news to hear. And those two boys are the only two children of their parents. So when you begin to add the extras, you just realize how deep a loss this is. Every loss is terrible. But this one feels kind of very heavy because alongside his brother, and then they were the only two children of their parents. And then he only got married to his now wife 10 days before the incident. Yeah. And this is a lady that he has been with for 15 years. They've got 4 kids. The youngest one was born this year. The first kid is 4 years, such a young family. And so it's, and when you, look, I don't know Jota personally, but when I sit behind a screen to watch him, everything the players who work with him have said sounds and feels very true. He doesn't look like a player who creates any problem or whatsoever in the team. It's never really been, apart from Wolverhampton Wanderers, where, of course, he's so good, he was always going to start. At Liverpool, was never really a starter. He's an important part of the team, but he never really was a Salah or a Mane, or now, at times, Luis Diaz. But you never hear him complain about minutes. In Portugal, he's never really held a starting position. At times, Leao will get ahead of him, João Felix will get ahead of him. Difficult to displace Ronaldo, of course. But he never complains, an ultimate professional. But when he has his moments on the pitch, he plays as though he's the main man, and he's delivered some very good goals. And I listened to you on another platform where you said it's probably the very first time in this modern generation that we've seen a footballer playing at this level that we watch week in, week out on our screen, pass. So it feels kind of different and kind of very painful. So yeah, again, our condolences to the family. I know, the funeral is done, but the mourning continues. And all of us feel it. it's almost like we know him to.
Yeah, it feels very personal. It's like,
we feel
it feels very.
Feel it.
You mentioned something that I needed you to clarify. I'm sure there would be some viewers that have had lots of mixed information. We're in the age of misinformation, right? About what exactly happened. Yeah. Somebody says who was driving, were they drunk, and all these stuff. But you mentioned it about the circumstances around how it happened. Could you just throw more light on why Jota and his brother were driving in the first place at that time of the night?
Yeah, absolutely. So Jota's last game for Liverpool in the season, he caught a rib injury. And he's had a surgery around the lung. So he was advised not to fly because when you fly, they tell you that the higher you go, the higher the altitude, the more pressure you put on your lungs. And as professional footballers, normally they want them to be in a certain shape. So he's returning to Liverpool for pre-season and he's going with his brother. So he's going by road to catch a ferry, right, on the coast of Spain. And then he joins the ferry and then he moves. There's
basically a boat, a ship.
A boat, yeah, if you like.
To cross the
those who have gone to Afram Place
the English Channel.
The version of Afram Place, the ferry, no?
Yes.
That's the thing. And many have said his brother was going with him, so he would return with the car. Right. So the two brothers were riding. Then unfortunate incident happened.
They had a bus tie.
They had a bus tie. The car, went off the road and then
caught fire.
So it's not as if they went out partying. Normally, when people hear that about the time,
of course,
that it was right past midnight. It was almost like right past midnight. Probably was drink driving, was drunk, careless, and all of that. That's not the case. That is an ultimate professional who's driving late in the night or early hours in the morning, dawn, trying to catch a ferry so he could get himself ready to prepare for pre-season, and it's met his untimely death. So, like I said, the more you piece all the other things together, the more painful it sounds and it looks.
Danike?
Yeah, obviously, very sad situation. And it's just life is funny. It's just a constant reminder. It's like we think life goes through certain motions. So you are young, you grow, you work, you grow old, you have your children, and then the next generation continues. It's not guaranteed. At the end of the day, it's not guaranteed. And it's what you make with the time you are given here on earth that matters. So tomorrow is not guaranteed. It's a constant reminder. And for us, sometimes, in fact, this day is a huge lesson. Sometimes we watch them on TV and they seem so far away. Yeah. We don't, to be frank, football fans don't necessarily, or sports fans in general don't necessarily see their heroes as human also. But it really hit. You see this guy all the time on TV and you take it for granted. You almost expect that, okay, first week, second week in July, they are back in pre-season, we are going to start watching them again. But for this thing to happen, for us to take a look at Jota from different lenses, as a father, as a brother, as a son, as a friend, then it just brings it a bit closer to home and you see how real some of these things are. So it's just, for me, it's a lesson to all of us. Obviously, tomorrow is not guaranteed. You have to make use of the time you are given here. At the end of the day, it's not about the trophies, it's not about the goals, it's about the quality of life, or the quality, how much impact you make in others around you. And at the end of the day, that's what it's about. So we all need to learn from that.
There's quite a number of issues around this as well. I think Liverpool have announced that they will pay Jota's family all of his salary for the remaining 2 years of his contract in full.
Lovely gesture.
So
I think it's in line with the last time I heard again was a couple of years ago when Fiorentina's captain Davide Astori on match day in the team hotel passed. I think Fiorentina had the same gesture to the family. They were paid out the rest of the contract to the family. So it's
the bare minimum
wonderful
gesture
right? From the club.
But then there's also the issue of why Ronaldo didn't attend the funeral. And it's created a bit of a storm, to be honest. I mean, is this much ado about nothing? Or the people that say that, I mean, it's an international teammate. It doesn't matter what your reasons are, you have to be there.
Again, I understand what fans are saying. He's the national team captain. Ideally, if it's possible, he would be there or he should be there to mourn with the rest of the teammates and the family, because you are the leader of that group, right?
Of course.
So ideally, you should be there. But the reasons why we hear Ronaldo didn't turn up, for me, makes sense to me. Because if Ronaldo is going to go there and it wasn't a private ceremony, it was a public ceremony. If Ronaldo was going to be there, I think it would have come with a lot of the extras. And one of the things that we hear from the camp of Ronaldo is that they didn't want those extras for the family on that day. They wanted the family to keep the place solemn. They wanted the family to mourn. They didn't want the distraction of the too many cameras and too many fans, some seeking autographs, some coming and chanting the Ronaldo name and what have you, because he's had an experience of that. And that was back in 2010 when his agent's mom passed. Back to Portugal, Jorge Mendes, back to Portugal. It was a terrible chaos when Ronaldo stepped out. It was all autographs. It was all Ronaldo. It was all fanfare for some who had just come to see their idol. And he didn't want that kind of distraction. And that is Ronaldo in 2010. What about Ronaldo in 2025? Who in the last 15 years, his profile and the love for him has shifted, brand and everything, because even now he's won so many things with Portugal. They love him even more and what have you. So I think I can understand why he wasn't there, but I can also appreciate why fans think that he should have been there.
Fair enough. We'll see. But we don't know for sure why Ronaldo wasn't there. So that is up to him and his family. But most
again, Jurgen Klopp couldn't make it. Mohamed Salah couldn't make it.
Know what he's talking about.
And Luis Diaz couldn't make it.
But they're not talking about any of those
absolutely.
things. But they're
talking about Ronaldo.
Specifically also about Luis Diaz.
Because they now realize that he was at a party, But the point is Salah, who is his teammate, couldn't make it.
Yeah.
Jurgen Klopp, who would have spent more time with him.
Who signed him
and spent more time with him, more contact time with him than Ronaldo would have. Didn't make it to the funeral. And I'm not going to sit here and say that is terrible of Klopp. You will never know what Klopp was dealing with.
No. That's why that's why I was going to say this is up to him.
Yeah.
It's a very personal matter. So whatever reasons he had for not showing up, that's up to him. We can only judge and be all...
If we see party pictures now and then.
Yeah, be all noisy on social media. But guys, I want to bring you guys home and to Morocco. That's where the Women's AFCON is taking place. Today, Ghana opened their campaign in Group C against the defending champions, South Africa. That match ended in a 2-0 defeat. Let's look at the highlights and then we can unpack what happened. 2 goes to 0. DK, Ghana started really well. Desiree, the South Africa coach, Desiree Ellis said that there was a 15-minute spell where if Ghana scored, they would have been in big trouble. And she's right. That was the opening 15 minutes. Ghana was so good. And then the penalty, and then things just fell apart.
Yeah, it was, for me, it was a typical game of a very experienced outfit and one that we know can be good. And the one that we know can be good are the Black Queens. They started really well, created some really decent opportunities. I think after the 10 or 12 minutes, Doris Bedua was through on goal on the left side and uncharacteristically took a shot from just on the edge of the box when she could have taken 3 more touches and got closer to goal. But it was at that moment I just realized that, look, yes, some of these players have played at the highest level, but when it comes to national team football, they've not necessarily played there before. The only player who was at the last AFCON was Portia Boache in the entire team. Apart from that, these are basically new players who have now been introduced into competition level when it comes to the Black Queens. So that's exactly what we saw. It was, if you take the goals out, it was a very good display from the Black Queens, one of the best they've played under this coach. You could tell there was clear instruction. It was just down to individual mistakes that cost them. You look at the second goal, we were on a break, then the chair makes a poor pass, it's intercepted, and South Africa take advantage of the space that is left in behind. The penalty incident to Grace Asantua, experienced in terms of club football and co. But you can't be making rash tackles like this, when especially Sasani was going nowhere and then crashed into her. A very silly mistake. But at the end of the day, you must always say that you must go through some of these things to be able to be better. And I think that the Black Queens will pick it up. They have to pick it up against Tanzania and Mali, who are not as strong and not as experienced as the South Africans. The second half was quite impressive. I thought again, created some really decent opportunities. We hit the post.
Especially after the substitutes
Exactly, when Dubia and Mafu came on. We looked much, much better. We smashed the post, tested the goalkeeper, who the South African goalkeeper had a very good game. And when the opposition goalkeeper has a very good game, then you know that you played some good football. Sometimes these things happen. I think we can cut the team some slack. Inexperience cost us.
You know, the only thing I would say is that, you know, those opening 15 minutes and what have you, the adrenaline and the aggression with which they started the game, that was one of the reasons that led to the penalty.
Yeah.
Because you could just see that there was no, because you mentioned she's very experienced. And there was no point, like where she caused the penalty, there was no danger.
She wasn't going anywhere.
It wasn't going anywhere. But they started so aggressively. And I think a lot of us were actually worried that we might not finish the game with 11 women.
I think the biggest worry too would have been fatigue. When that's also, because I think they were very aggressive in trying to press and win the ball. But I think the game went according to the script. South Africa is a top team in Africa.
Yeah.
And last week...
But it's a completely different team from the one that won the AFCON 2 years ago.
So it's not the team per se. It's almost like...
It's a setting.
It's like Brazil is coming to the World Cup.
The core is the same.
The coach is there. They still got some players who are experienced. They are there. So they are an experienced side. And that is something last week. That when you play against some of the top teams, first game in the competition, maybe they have not settled in very well.
Yeah.
Now, for the underdogs, and which Ghana was coming into the game today, you want to let them feel you around, and that is how I think the game went. But then again, experience counts, and that is what went against the Queens, and that is what did the trick for South Africa. And I think that in the second game, in the third game, as tough as the most difficult game in the group is gone.
Yeah.
So now your competition starts. And you've tested yourself well against South Africa. Pick the confidence and the positives from that. Correct the mistakes, and then get into those two games and see if you can pick good enough points to take you through.
And the next game is against Mali. And Mali beat Tanzania in the other group game earlier today as well. So Mali already have 3 points, South Africa have 3 points. We face Mali next. It means that it's non-negotiable. We must beat Mali in order to stand a chance of being in the competition. Some other teams don't have the same trouble that we have. Like Nigeria, the record winners of the competition, they opened their campaign against Tunisia, and it was a thumping 3-0 victory. Zambia, Nora Hoptel left us to go to Zambia. Zambia finished third at the last Women's AFCON. They are back and holding the host nation to a 2-2 draw. Before that, you saw Senegal completely destroy Congo by 4-0. And then Nigeria, as I said earlier, also winning by 3-0 in their first game. So those are some of the action from the women's AFCON as far as that's concerned. It's very concerning to see that there's not a lot of fans in the stadium. When I compare that to the women's Euros ongoing, and you can just tell the difference in the attendance. And that's a massive issue that I really don't know how CAF are going to solve this matter. I think one thing that I can advise them to do is to stop playing every competition in Morocco. Am I right?
Well, how many African countries, though, have got the budget to host women's football? It's not as
we did.
How many? The question is how many? How many countries?
If we can do
even
it,
Cote d'Ivoire,
so many others can do it.
No, even Cote d'Ivoire declined hosting the U20 a couple of months ago, and that is U20.
Can you host it today?
Can you host it now? Do you have what it takes to host it now?
If we, you see, the hosting, they don't just ask you to host it tomorrow. They'll give you, you win a bid and you prepare to host.
And I'm saying, how many African countries?
So if we win a bid today, we can prepare to host it. Why not?
How many African countries are ready to host women's football?
Okay, ready. Now that's the word.
Yeah, how many?
Ready to do it.
Because I'll tell you what, not many countries are going to build stadia from the scratch to host AFCON.
No.
They will use already existing facilities.
Yes.
If that's the main AFCON, it's a different proposition.
It's not about where the thing is being held. Traveling in Africa is very expensive. It's not like Europe. It's a train away.
You can train.
So
use your Eurostar, you are gone.
Portugal is going to face Italy. Portuguese fans will just take one bus or say train. And
we will take bus to Cote d'Ivoire, take bus to Lomé.
So those from Morocco,
and those from Morocco do. They will take bus and come to
So I think no, the continent has its own. But yeah, I mean, Morocco have shown that they are ready and almost ready to host Africa. So why not?
Yeah, but so we'll see. Maybe the Black Queens will recover. Their next game is on the 11th against Mali. On the 11th, is that Saturday or 11th?
Yeah.
I think it's Saturday or Friday or Saturday, one of them. So that's what it is. So we wish them all the best. Hopefully we'll come back and then we can get something. We've been to the final 3 times previously, never won the competition. South Africa were in the same situation until the last AFCON. They had also been to the final 4 times, never won it. And then they changed it last time out when they went to the final and then won it. So maybe this is a time for the Black Queens. But we must first get out of our group. That's the most important thing. So send them...
No pressure.
So send them goodwill messages, 0551 575757. Let's come to Accra and show you some action from the President's Cup. Hearts of Oak and Kumasi Asante Kotoko, they locked horns at the Accra Sports Stadium in the 2025 President's Cup. Kotoko won that match by 2-1. Take a look. All right, so big congratulations to Kumasi Asante Kotoko, who have won their 9th President's Cup. They have 3 more than Hearts of Oak, who have 6 at the moment. So fabulous rules. Quick thoughts on that? No. The penalty incident, Benai, do you have it? Not penalty, offside incident.
It wasn't offside.
Wasn't offside? Wasn't offside?
It wasn't offside.
Okay. We'll get you the video and play for you. Was it offside or was it offside?
It was close. It was tight.
was close, yeah.
It looked more onside than offside, but the angles I've seen are not necessarily the best offside angles.
Yeah.
So it's difficult to tell. But look, on the naked eye,
it's not difficult to tell. It is no offside.
It is difficult to tell. It depends on the angle. For example, I'll give you an example. When Ronaldo scored that winner against Germany in the Nations League,
it wasn't offside.
It looked offside.
It didn't look offside
until on the footage that we're seeing, until the proper offside camera picked it up. And this one is a perfect example. So I was thinking, that looks a little bit onside to me, but again, I want to see it from the offside camera angle, and I've not seen that, so it's tight. It's a tough call.
It looked a bit onside anyway.
Yeah.
But I'm very happy with one thing. This is the biggest attendance to a President's Cup we've seen in God knows how long. I don't remember the last time we've seen, not even in the league football. I don't remember the last time we've seen this much crowd, if it's not a Black Stars game, at the stadium to watch 2 clubs play.
The last time would have been Hatfield Olympics, last now
maybe
Olympics.
That is 2020.
2020, post-COVID.
Yeah,
I think
that season,
2021.
Those games sold out. I think those were the games that...
Post-COVID.
But this one, I think, look, massive credit to organizers, to the Ministry of Sports and Recreation, NSA, GALCA. They did do, I think they did something which worked for them.
Yeah.
They turned it into a whole fanfare, brought on artists. It was a party in the stadium. I was there. I was lucky enough to go and then MC the event itself. So I saw the job they did on the ground. And credit to the NSA and Green Grass Technology. I thought the pitch was good. Yeah. So they allowed the game to flow like we saw it on the day. So massive credit to them. I think that having done this, maybe they should look forward to find the proper template for what is to come in the subsequent one, because it did sell out what was, for me, a good fanfare.
Yeah, perfect. All right. So what we're going to do now, take a short break. When we come back, I've got lots of your messages, and we've got Club World Cup action as well as transfers. So we've still got a lot to go through here on the show. Do stay with us. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. That was a very short break. The show is partly brought to you by PVAT Beverages and Guinness. Sports Zone, of course, live every Monday from 9 p.m. all the way till 10:30 p.m. I've got some of your messages here, so I want to read some of them, and then we will continue the show. This message says, "Good evening, I'm KD from BBNA. Please, house and Buemo to Man United. We're getting into the transfers very shortly." Ramsey in Tamale says, "Good evening, guys. Friend, I strongly believe with proper investment and structures, our league will be better again. At least yesterday's showing should give us a clue of what awaits us if we do things right. That being said, what shambolic commentary was that? I don't know, man. Who were the commentators on duty?
Sure.
I'm not sure.
Commentators.
Yeah, I don't know, man. But I don't. It couldn't have been that bad. I mean, it's not possible it was that bad. Prosper from Adenta says, greetings to you, friend. Jota's death is a painful one. May his soul keep resting in peace. I just checked Liverpool's squad and his name is not part of the squad. And I felt the reality of his death. Dilap, dear, I wonder if he can give Chelsea 10 goals per season. João Pedro is far better than both Dilap and Jackson. My special greetings to Brad, Danny, and Uncle Sicho. Thank you, Prosper, for your message. This one... This one says, good evening to you guys. I'm Jacobsko from Yeji. I'm a Liverpool fan. What happened to Diogo Jota and the brother is very sad to football fans and the family. It's going to be a very, very big miss. He says, Jota was not just a player, he was a respectful, humble, merciful, and friendly to everyone. May God Almighty grant him eternity. Kawamuddin, live from Yendi, says, good evening. Okay, hold on. I'm not finding your message. Joshua from Nigeria, Kaduna State, says, for me, CR7 was supposed to be there because he's the captain of the national team. All right, thank you very much for tuning in all the way from Kaduna in Nigeria, Kaduna State. Yade, Omi Dede. Okay, that's my house there. Apart from Awu, she says, good evening to you, Fent and the team. Barca is notorious for disrespecting players they want out of the door, so the Nico snub is well-deserved. The President's Cup was good entertainment for us, the neutrals. He had it all. I hope you host a referee on the show. One of these days, I've got a lot of questions for the referee. Interesting. And he said, dear Thomas Partey, this too shall pass. This message says, good evening, Sports Zone. I'm Strongman from Wa. It's really a great, profound pleasure to make a comment on your show every Monday. Indeed, your program is amazing. Keep the good work, he says. Nana Kwame Bennington from America House, Tasty Grill and Bar says, I saw Sicho today around East Legon, 69 area. I was confused. I didn't know what to do. After he left, before I remembered to tell him to give me a shout out on the show.
All right. That's right.
So shout out to Nana Kwame Bennington.
Yeah, man.
Next time you see Sicho, you should go and say hi.
All right.
He's a nice man. Francis in Sogakope says, Diogo Jota and his brother's loss is very disheartening. May their souls rest in perfect peace. Fent, Chelsea's winning Chelsea's winning the Club World Cup. Yeah, that's true. It's written. What is written is written. Ralph from Ashaman says, good evening, Fen. The Jota incident reminds me of a quote from my grandma. What if you're not part of the future you are fighting for? Tomorrow is not promised, so we do the best we can today. True. That's why tomorrow you should buy yourself a nice chichinga and get yourself piva tangi and enjoy. Because the next day is not promised. You understand? It's not promised. That's why every chance I get, I enjoy. Thank you.
Fantastic.
You understand?
Fantastic.
Then again, take the Guinness, drink. Because tomorrow is not promised. You understand? Quick. If it wasn't because they would say that we are drinking on the show, you understand? Quick. Tomorrow is not promised.
When you hear the bad news for Jota, boy said, Charlie, today they have to do it for Jota.
Oh, Charlie.
Hey, you boo.
Charlie. Ralph, thank you for your message. Anyway, so you can keep your own messages coming because we'll talk about that Nico Williams snub of Barcelona. We'll talk about Mohamed Kudus to Spurs, or is it Chelsea? Every week, for 3 weeks now, we've been talking about that transfer. We'll talk about Mbuemo, we'll talk about Gyökeres, we'll talk about the Club World Cup. So we've got a lot. I've got a message from Amin Shadow. He says, please, let's go and chill with all your savings.
Tomorrow is not promised.
As tomorrow is not promised. What if, because of the whole tomorrow is not promised mantra, I've already finished my session? Shadow, do you know what has happened to my savings? Because I know that tomorrow is not promised. I don't have savings.
No, tell Shadow that we will chill with his vacation money. So you should come back. You should come back soon. You shouldn't finish the vacation. The rest of the money will chill.
Let's talk to a man who has no savings.
How do you know that?
Karim.
Are you in my pocket?
Karim, do you have savings?
Okay.
You can't explain.
I don't need to. Tomorrow is all promise.
Charlie, how are you? What have you got for us today?
Do you know the Ghanaian player to accumulate the highest transfer, like in history, the highest transfer fee?
A single player?
A single player, like
the most expensive Ghanaian player.
No, putting his movement together, the amount of money, the most like accruing, the most expensive across his career.
Hey, keep quiet, Boga. Keep quiet.
Who likes to move around?
I know.
Jordan, you keep quiet.
No, it's not. But Jordan, will chicken change you.
Hey, Charlie.
Jordan moves,
the money all no plenty.
Jordan to...
so, okay, that is difficult.
I would say Kamaldeen.
That is difficult to guess. But like,
what about Kamaldeen?
Wait, if you're mentioning the price, which range do you think it will be?
Somewhere over
50 million.
Over a little
No. Together?
Yes.
Maybe like 80.
80?
80?
No way.
Not close to 80.
No way.
Or like 50.
A little over 50.
Yes.
A little over 50.
Yeah.
I'm listening.
Kudus?
Tomorrow is no promise. Next week I'll do that for you. Inshallah.
Come on.
So the question, ask the question properly. Which Ghanaian player has attracted the most money in transfer fees over their career?
Yes.
Yeah.
Overall,
in transfer fees.
And what's the answer?
But who's the most expensive Ghanaian player?
Kamaldeen.
Oh, come on.
I was correct.
Yes.
Yeah, he moves around a lot.
So
it's easy for me to guess. And for good money, thank you. Because
he's made three
moves, and both of them were over 20 million.
And
all
it's just one. One is over
Southampton to Atalanta, so that's three.
And each of them was over 20 million. That's how I know it should be.
The current one is not 20 million.
No.
The current one is 13.
Two are below 20. One is 20 plus.
So Nigel to Southampton.
Ren is Atalanta at 70 million euros. Then Southampton 25. That is according to data from transfer market. So next week I'll do top 5. So
we'll see. Right.
Next week is no problem, but inshallah.
Top 5. I know another name that is still in there.
Yeah.
ACN will be in there.
Exactly.
that ain't 34 million will be enough.
Boom. Big cash.
Okay, let's continue with the confirmed Ghanaian player transfers that have happened so far. Okay. So last week I was supposed to do the professor, but I couldn't do him because of some small something. But this week I'll do him. He played for Royal Antwerp last season, but at the end of the season, he decided to terminate his contract with them. He signed a 2-year contract with Royal Antwerp at the start of last season, but he played 32 games for them, scored 2 goals and provided 2 assists. He's now 37, but at the end of the season, they've decided to mutually terminate the contract. I don't know what is going to happen, if he's going to retire or...
He played 32 games last season.
Yes.
In his first season with the club.
First season with Antwerp.
That's a lot of games. So surprising that he's leaving.
He plays a lot.
Yes, and he's versatile. If any players know they can play midfield, he can play as a centre-back, right-back, left-back. So I don't know what happened there. Hopefully he makes another move. Then this player, Kingsley Schindler, he has also left Samsunspor, that is in the Turkish league. He's a full-back and play as a midfielder. His contract with them ended. He signed a 2-year deal with them. Last season, he played for them in the Turkish Super League. And overall, in the 2 seasons he has played there, he has played 56 games, scored 3 goals, and provided 3 assists. Then the next player is Kelvin Ofori. You can remember him, right? To Dream, the player, according to Tom Vernon, he's the best to come out of the Right to Dream.
Come through the Right to Dream Academy. Yes.
And he has left Spartak Trnava, and that is in Slovenia. He's a winger. He has signed a 3-year deal with Slovan Bratislava, also in the Slovenian league. He has swapped title contenders for the champions, and he'll be playing in the
Champions That's a move
League.
Up.
Yes.
Oh, that's a step up, yeah.
He'll be playing in the Champions League qualifiers if they make it to the group stage.
They came to lose all their matches in the Champions League.
That's a move up. That's a move
Yes, but...
Arim, let's move on. Forget Aniki.
You see, this is what you said about Mohamed Hussein. Now he's a superstar. So
no, I'm not talking about the player. I'm talking about
the club. Not
talking about the club.
Yes.
Oh, what? Are you saying that the club will be in Real Madrid in the next
year?
This guy.
Then the Benjamin Tete.
Boxer.
He went to Metz, that is in France, Things didn't work out there for him. In his first season, got injured for almost the whole season. Played only 13 games for them, but got injured along the line. Then he moved on loan to Maribor, that is in Slovenia last season. Helped them play 21 games, scored 13 goals.
Sweden, not Slovenia.
No, Slovenia.
Maribor is in Slovenia.
Maribor is in Slovenia. He played 21 games, scored 13 goals. That is the highest return in his career. He has signed a 2-year deal with them. Striker. He can do everything.
And box. He can also box.
Then Eric Boachi. Petro, can you remember FC Noah?
Yeah, Chelsea. Chelsea put them on the map.
Their stadium is, the capacity of their stadium is not up to 4,000. Just a little under 4,000.
Are you saying that their stadium can fit in the boat? All the fans can fit in the boat.
But it's a step up for him. They'll be playing in the Conference League qualifiers. So he has moved from Aris Limassol, that is in Cyprus. He's a right back, 26 years old. He has signed a 3-year deal with them. Hopefully they can play in Europe and he can market himself and put himself on somewhere. Then Isaac Papu. I can remember 3 weeks ago, I said that he won a title with Ferencvaros, but he barely played like 5 games. He's an attacker, 21 years old. Then he has moved to Dundee United, that is in the Scottish Championship.
Where is the lad who used to play for Dundee?
Matthew Enim. He's in Israel.
He's in Israel?
Yes. Okay. Now he has joined them on a season-long loan. The manager spoke highly about him. Hopefully, he rediscover his form there and gets another move. Then Kamaldeen, you've spoken a lot about him. The reason I brought him is the games he has played and that money he has generated over the moves, which we have just discussed. It's 59 million euros in his career. He has made 3 moves, and it is making him the highest to command the combined transfer fee of any Ghanaian player. He has signed a 4-year deal with Atalanta and with an option to extend, joining for 70 million euros. So then Christopher Babunsu, today it's finally official that he has moved from Genk to Al Qadsiya, that is in the Saudi League. He has signed a 4-year deal with them and he's going to ball. He has just completed the 2nd full season of his professional career, just about 104 games, I think, as a professional. That is, he played half his season at Salzburg after joining from Shooting Stars, then played 2 seasons at Genk, played 90 games for them in his 2 seasons, and he has moved to Al Qadsiya. So that is it for this week. Next week, we continue.
All right. Thank you very much, Karim, for that lowdown. Every time you mention Dundee United, I only think about one player. It was the first to introduce me to that club, Prince Boabing. Played for the Black Stars in 2008. Made about 3 appearances for them.
That's what I remember.
Played in Scotland back in the day.
Prince Boabing.
The name sounds familiar, huh?
Because the only Scottish...
Musa.
But who is...
I know, they don't remember. They don't remember Prince Boabing.
How many minutes did he play for the Black Stars?
3.
How many minutes?
And then Musa Karim.
The guy always got collaborations on the bench. You want 22 minutes.
All I know is that he played 3 times.
No, he.
But he was always called out a lot.
Prince Boabing.
Yeah, around that era.
Me, the only Boabing I know, if it's one Gasco guy, me, I don't know any Boabing.
The only Boabing I know to he played the Boazizi.
He play.
Hey, you don't know Prince Boabing.
So he said about Boazizi. Yeah, that's where you get a little
That'd be hard.
He was being called up around the same time that Francis Deco was.
No, Francis Deco every day. But Boabing
no lie.
Oh, challenge.
Boabing no try.
All right.
I just say he do some payola for him. Let me say come the ball.
True.
Any proper Ghana Black Stars fan knows Prince Boabing.
He lie.
Oh.
Do a poll right now. Do a poll right now.
Guys,
who is this number when he was playing for the Black Stars?
did you know Prince Boabing?
Francis Deco with the Kayam.
Boabing.
To text from Paul.
That's the brothers over the kind of Prince Boabing. Even Philip Obafo with the kind of.
Hey.
Prince Boabing.
Hey, you don't remember Prince Boabing?
Forget. Master show say Prince Boabing.
There was no Black Star player around that time that I don't remember. Even the French ones, the ones who don't even get to play 1 minute.
What notable thing did Prince Boabing do with the Black Stars? How many minutes?
It wasn't notable, but that's the whole point. that even though he wasn't notable, I still remember him because he was called up for the Black Stars.
Do you remember Samuel Tete?
Who?
Samuel Tete.
Of course.
Good.
Do you remember him from Black Stars?
Do you remember him for the Black Stars?
Samuel Tete?
Yes.
He was at the AFCON in
2017.
Yes.
Yes. I remember him. Do you know why? Because when you go on the pitch, you could see a very talented...
But he's an under-20 player. I don't even need to remember him from...
No, but remember him from 2015. But when he won
New Zealand, I remember him.
When he won the jersey, you can pick out... I'm saying that Prince...
I don't remember him. I don't remember
Samuel
Tete's performance at the Blaster. I remember him from under-20.
Interesting. Okay. National team.
At this, I remember him from under-20.
National team. So you still remember. But Prince Boabeno, which national team moment do you remember?
Actually, you know this guy.
He played for Dundee United.
Oh, yeah. 37 years. I mean, no.
See, Mark from Accra Girls, the administrator, he says, I remember him very well.
I mean, your friend.
Your friend.
I'm your friend. If you're a friend.
Check. See, maybe he has manufactured the message.
Team manager, they don't remember Prince Abuame. Hey. Guys. All right, let's go to the Club World Cup. What game shall we show you? I want to show the Chelsea game because I've got something to ask over there. Chelsea beat Palmeiras by 2-1 at 1 a.m. on Saturday. Take a look. All right, so semi-final matches are fixed. The other semi-final was between quarterfinal, was between Fluminense and Al Hilal. Fluminense also beat them by 2-1. So now it's set on Tuesday, which is tomorrow night. Chelsea will play against Fluminense, against Thiago Silva at 7 p.m. And then the other semi-final between Real Madrid and PSG will be on Wednesday at the same time, 7 p.m. We've got transfers to go through, but quick thought. The Delap boy.
Of all the things that happened, Delap is what you want to talk about.
He was fighting a lot.
The show no be no.
Hey, it'll be Chelsea show.
All right, cool. Your thoughts on the quarterfinal matches then?
Ballon d'Or play ball or a play ball, I was in Delap.
Look, Ballon d'Or scored that cheap tapping.
Okay.
No problem. I think it's one of the best one of the two best Copama performances I've seen since December. I think one of them would be the second half in the Conference League final.
Yeah.
And then this one, for large parts of the game, he was the Copama that we had become used to. And he topped that up with a goal. I think when he plays well, Chelsea play well. And when teams keep him quiet or he's been off color, Chelsea do struggle. And Enzo Maresca has also used the Club World Cup to try a couple of things. He hasn't always worked. But the good thing about the squad he has is he always has something else around, maybe on the bench or in the team to tweak and then get a team playing, at optimum again. It wasn't an easy game, but they managed to go through just of the character in the team. So, yeah, I like that about them.
Here's my question to you. Watching Estevo's performance against Chelsea and all of the buzz around the kid, where does he fit in? And then, roping the whole situation around also Madueke possibly leaving, are Chelsea still in the market for Kudus, or Estevo is the future they see in that position? Like, how does all of that dynamic work?
The Estevo guy is he's the present too.
That's what I'm saying, exactly.
He doesn't
That's what I'm saying,
like
because he's coming.
Look, he doesn't need to go on loan to go and learn anything.
He is coming.
He's a manager's dream. And those players like that are very scarce in modern day. Like proper wingers who pick the ball are not afraid to take on players. Very good crossing technique, very good shot technique, both feet, very good. And again, it's the fearlessness.
Yeah.
Very young. He just needs to be coached right. And for me, Madueke.
Yes.
That's the guy's name, man. Madueke. Yeah, Noni Madueke. Last season. We saw him the season before. We saw him the season before. Then we even saw him at PSV. When I told you that people shouldn't buy him, we know him. But Maresca was able to form this environment around him where, yes, he was frustrating, but he was useful to the Chelsea system.
Right.
That was good coaching. So if you look at a player like Estavio, who has a higher ceiling, who has more to him, more to his game than Madueke. I can only see good things from him. And again, when you juxtapose that on the fact that Jamie Bino Gittins has arrived, another raw, direct winger picks the ball, his link-up play has improved. Chelsea has weapons down the wide side. Pedro Neto is also there, can play either side. Kopama, of course, untouchable. Joao Pedro. The squad is looking nice on paper, but again, I think it will need a couple of months for them to gel. But Chelsea are building something very interesting for me.
Okay. Madueke to Arsenal, so that will take us into the transfers. Why are Arsenal so bent on signing him? You like...
Arsenal don't have a Saka deputy. A deputy for
Is that
Saka.
what he is going to be?
And now we're starting. Madueke is not going to start.
At Chelsea.
Oh, Charlie. Madueke plays the same position as Saka. For 5 years, Arsenal haven't had anybody to deputize Saka. Sam Marquinhos, the Brazilian boy who came, so they sent him back. Last season, Saka got injured for 3 months and Arsenal struggled. Waneri is good, but he's not... The way Arsenal play, the way Arteta needs the wide men to hug the touchline and drive into... That's not Waneri. Waneri operates better in the half spaces.
So there was being linked to Chelsea,
exactly.
Right?
There was always a disconnect when in Saka's absence because he couldn't play that role the way Arsenal needed it to be played. Madueke can hug the touch. We saw him at Chelsea last season, very comfortable hugging the touchline, can do a decent job. He's a sort of player that Saka doesn't need to start every game. You can always play him. And then, to be frank, the guy he started most games for the team that finished 4th in the Premier League last season. He's not a bad player. He's a very good player to have as a deputy.
The price they are mentioning, though,
it
for
makes
a bench player, it's a bit... I don't know how Chelsea always managed to do that.
Look, yes, he's expensive. He's very expensive.
He really is expensive.
But, to be frank, in modern day football, you need to make some of these sacrifices. Look at how much Man City buy their players. Look at how much... Liverpool have an 80 million...
They spent 170 million on players in January. Already 3 of the players are bench players.
It happens. Mudryk was, 80 million? Sat on the bench at Chelsea. So for me, it's a big club mentality. You're not going to get a player who has started 70-80% of the Premier League games for your top 4 rival for cheap. No. If you want a deputy, you have to pay money. And that's just how modern day football is.
How much of a fault is Donnarumma for that Musiala injury? Because the buying players were...
Zero.
Were furious. They were very angry. And they literally forced Donnarumma to go and apologize to Musiala.
I think that's terrible. Of course.
I mean, he knew he was going to injure him.
No, he didn't.
Are you sure?
He didn't. His eyes were on the ball. He was only going to catch the ball.
That's the penalty box.
He wasn't going to... He wasn't... No, what are people saying? They are saying that Donnarumma went in to injure the player. Absolutely not. Was it a clean claim of the ball? Yes. What happened? He fell on the ankle of the player having caught the ball already. It wasn't like Pickford's tackle on Van Dijk, where his thoughts are showing and everything. No, he didn't throw his thoughts at him. Was it a legal challenge? Was it a foul? Was it a bookable offense? No. Was it clean? Yes. Did he have any damage? Yes. Was it deliberate? I don't think so, because I'm looking at Donnarumma's eyes when he's going to grab the ball. And he's completely focused on grabbing the ball.
Sure, and he also knew where the player was.
Of course.
His eyes can be focused on, but he would have a very good sense where Musiala was.
But there's no way the goalkeeper is going to allow the ball pass because he sees the player, especially when he's not going with his legs. He's going with his hands. And unfortunately, Musiala is quick. It happens in a second. In a split second, Musiala's ankle or leg is underneath the big frame of Donnarumma. How does he stop that? He's down before the player's legs come there.
After the time Donnarumma is making the move, Paco is ahead of Musiala.
Yes.
Musiala quickly moves ahead of him.
I don't see how...
It's unfortunate.
It's unfortunate, but I don't see how...
Speak to me about Nico Williams, then we go to your carers. Nico Williams, Situ. The guy has completely surprised a lot of people, to be honest, by deciding to stay at Bilbao. Everybody thought he was going to Barcelona. And the reports are that even Barca are very surprised at his decision and quite furious that he decided to stay. But the right decision for him?
Probably the right decision for him, considering Barcelona couldn't give him the assurances that he wanted. Basically wanted Barcelona to put in an exit clause for him if they were going to struggle to register him, because having done their background check, and with La Liga's president speaking more recently that Barcelona could not register a player now. He didn't want to go through the period where he signs for his new club, he can't play games because they don't have the financial clearance to register him. So you're saying that, okay, guarantee me that I'm going to play when the season starts. Otherwise, give me an exit clause where I can leave the club. They did that for Dani Olmo, but they still asked Dani Olmo to be patient with them. He asked for that, and they didn't give him that. And he was like, then I'm happy to stay with Bilbao. And I tell you what, players from the Basque, when they play for Bilbao, they are very proud to play for Bilbao.
Of course.
And for him, he's playing the club with his brother. His whole family setup is there. If you can't give him those assurances, he's still, 22, 23 years? He signed a long-term deal with the club, but the release clause in that contract is still very reasonable. So there's no pressure on him not to play 2 more years with his boyhood club and move on when he wants to. But he's not going to risk going to Barca and having to go through what Dani Olmo went through. Let's not forget, when Dani Olmo, the only reason why Barcelona could register Dani Olmo, don't forget, is because Christensen got injured.
Yes.
So when Christensen got injured, Dani Olmo was drafted in his place. Then in January, when Christensen was fit, La Liga deregistered, they deregistered Dani Olmo.
It was a big story.
Barcelona took it to court.
Yeah.
And the court ruled that
and he wasn't supposed to play the Copa del Rey semi-final against Real Madrid.
And then the court ruled that, look, Nico really doesn't want to go through that. He's very happy to play for Bilbao. Of course, Barcelona is a bigger club, but when those boys who come from those regions have to play for their club, they will. At his age, with his potential, he thinks that he can still play some few years there and still get a big move. But yeah, I think that it's Barcelona's financial problem.
I'm a bit surprised he turned down Bayern Munich, because Bayern were very, very interested in him as well. That was his decision. He said
he said he didn't want to go to Germany.
Anyway, Arthur from Volta region, Awologa says, tomorrow evening Chelsea is winning by 3-1. Once it's coming from the Volta region, I believe.
Why was it the Volta region?
No, Volta, I just believe. This is a message from Olaboy from Nigeria. He says, good evening. My team in Ghana is Kotoko, and I really love them. How I wish I have money. I would have come to Ghana to watch their whole match. I've heard Black Queens, they must improve massively. Thank you very much for tuning in all the way from Nigeria. This one says, Mensa Caleb, this is from Abrikuma, says, Ronaldo didn't try for not attending Diogo Jota's funeral. Okay. He really wrote Abrikuma, so I hope it is Abrikuma and he's not making somebody...
Charlie, if you're on air, some of the times when you are reading, someone can put you in trouble.
So he wrote Abrikuma.
You say Abrikuma and somebody be at home and like...
That's why I'm explaining. That's why I'm explaining.
He wrote, that's what he wrote.
Man United should come and sign Kotoko players and sell Mason Mount. Oh, that's an interesting one. Don Shaka says, please, today is my wife's birthday. Kindly wish her a happy birthday for me. She's Mrs. Eunice Ama. Eunice Ama. Very happy birthday to you. Yeah, as well. Anyway, guys, that's our show for tonight. Thank you very much, Daniel. Thank you very much, Sicho. My name is Fentio. Tahiru Fentio. Show brought to you by Piva and by Guinness. We're back again next Monday. Until then, do take care of yourself and bye-bye.